Hey, what's up everybody? Ray here. Giving you all that video I've been talking about that y'all been asking me to do, the Zack Theory video on Final Fantasy VII Remake. What is Zack's deal? What is his role in Final Fantasy VII moving forward? And how did it all happen, right? But before I get into that, I want to take a moment to say, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you like what I've been putting out, y'all like what I'm doing, throw a subscribe on there. I really appreciate it. It helps my stuff get seen a lot more, and it is a big boost to me. And the more people see it, the more content I can make. And if you like the video, throw a like on there. So let's just jump right into it, because this is going to take a minute. It's going to take a few minutes. What is going on with Zack in Remake? Basically what it comes down to is the planet realizing that Sephiroth has played it and everybody in the story so far. I'm not going to get too much into Sephiroth, because I did a theory video on Sephiroth already that pretty much covers what I think he's doing, and it still holds up. So if you want, you can go back and check that video out. I may do another one if you all are interested in it, just to kind of rehash it, but Sephiroth has duped everybody, right? Sephiroth is about to be on the path to absolute victory, because he is too powerful to not be kept in check by the planet and all the failsafes the planet has in place to keep everybody on the path of the original storyline where Sephiroth is defeated somewhat, right? What you have to realize, we have to talk about the Whispers a little bit. I know that's nobody's... People really don't like talking about them very much, but we have to talk about them for just a second here, because they are the reason why Zack... We're even talking about Zack, right? So think of the Whispers like leaves on this huge tree with like countless branches that's as big as forever, right? This tree is huge. They're not bound by time and space, but they're present throughout all of existence. Like this tree grows throughout all of existence. The branches are everywhere, the leaves are everywhere, and the leaves are the Whispers, right? So they're present everywhere. Think of this concept like Yggdrasil, right? In a way, the world tree from Norse mythology. And there's a lot of Norse mythology in Final Fantasy VII, as we all know. There's a lot of channels and a lot of books and stuff out there on it. As a matter of fact, MJ Gallagher, who is, you can follow him on Twitter. He is at FF7 Novels, FFVII Novels on Twitter. He wrote a great book about it. You can check him out and check out that book as well. But anyway, there's all kinds of Norse mythology throughout all of Final Fantasy VII, right? It's present. Even the name Midgar is taken from Midgard, term for Earth or the human world, human realm. And fitting, because where the explosion takes place when the Whispers are ultimately defeated is right there at Midgar. So there's a tie there. There is a tie there. So anyway, let's talk about Zack. The planet realizes it's had, and it realizes it is too late in seeing what Sephiroth is up to, and it hatches a last-second, last-ditch effort plan that it only lets Aerith in on. This shot right here on the freeway before they go into the Crossroads of Destiny that Sephiroth opens up after he has control of the cries of the planet. He has taken control of all. He's manipulating everything. He's not necessarily in control, but he's manipulating everything, right? The planet shows Aerith what it's about to do. She has a vision of Zack before he confronts his final fate, and we see Whispers everywhere, all over these Shinra soldiers. Now, when Whispers are affecting somebody, they affect them directly. We saw it throughout the game when people were changing course. We saw it throughout the game whenever Aerith was about to say too much, or the party was about to see too much. They come after them. Whoever they're trying to stop, they come after them directly. So to see the Whispers swarming in and around the Shinra soldiers, they're affecting the Shinra soldiers directly. The planet is hatching a last-ditch effort at that moment to save Zack's life. That's the plan. The planet's big plan is to change the fates of key characters that can make a difference in the battle with Sephiroth and Jenova. That is why Zack is spared. That's what happens here. And as the party is walking away into the wastelands toward Calm, hopefully toward Calm, right? I want to see Calm. I want to see Calm and Cloud tell his story right at the beginning of Remake Part 2. I think that'd be a wonderful way to open Remake Part 2. So the party walks off, and then Cloud and Aerith have a moment there, right? Aerith, it's almost like she sees a vision, but I don't think she sees anything. I think she has a feeling. Aerith feels moved by something right here, and we see Zack and Cloud making their way toward Midgar. Aerith feels something here too, and that is the presence of her love, Zack. I think she still loves Zack and has feelings for him. It's been a long time, but I think she still feels for Zack. So now let's skip ahead. What happened to Zack after his battle with the Shinra soldiers then, right? We see, the last thing we see before the vision of him walking toward Midgar with Cloud is the battle right there, the explosion from the battle. Because, right, that's where Sephiroth cut the opening at the Crossroads of Destiny, was on that exit ramp that's unfinished coming out of Midgar right there. So even though they were taken to a different realm right there to fight, that explosion happened right there in that time, months earlier, when Zack and Cloud were making, I think it was like, 2 or 3 months, something like that, when Zack and Cloud were making their way toward Midgar. He sees the explosion, that's what rocks him, that's what throws him back. That's the moment that the Whispers were defeated by the party, right? And then that realm just disappears, the realm that the Whispers live in, or whatever you want to call it. That was seen throughout all time, right? Because like I said, the Whispers in that, they're not bound by whatever time they're in, they are throughout all of existence. So if cavemen were in that spot, 1 million, 2 million years prior, they would have seen that explosion. Red 13 and his pups at the end, when they're howling over Midgar, they would have seen that explosion. I think that would be a cool way to open part 2 as well, as a matter of fact, is like seeing people throughout different times see that explosion at the same time. Because that's why it went down like that. That's why they showed that. Then we saw the sparkles raining down, representing the Whispers were defeated. They're no more. This is their remains, or whatever you want to call it. And then we see also Big's alive. We see Jesse's glove next to his headband on the dresser. We see the people rebuilding Sector 7 of Midgar. So back to that now. What happened to Zack after his battle with the Shinra soldiers? I think Hojo reacquires he and Cloud. I think they try to get to Midgar. I think they get to Midgar, and I think either they're picked up on cameras or something weird happened. Zack is all but defeated. He is physically beaten. Cloud can't defend himself. I think they're reacquired by Shinra. I think what happens is they're both put in a lab, right? Now, here's where we start bringing in compilation characters. Cessny. We know in Crisis Core, Cessny was sent by Sing to help Cloud and Zack, right? The Shinra troops got there first. Or the Turks. The other Turks and the whole company basically were after him. I think Cessny has a hand in getting Zack out of the lab. I do. I think we're gonna see Cessny pop up in Remake Part 2. She's gonna have a big hand in it. I think Sing, they played him up as the company man, right? I think he's gonna be kind of like when she comes to him and says, "Hey, they've got Zack and Cloud. They made it here," because this will be around the time she was going to try and save them. We might see a scene where she finds that they're in a lab or something. So that explains how Zack escapes. But why does he leave Cloud, right? Well, we don't know right now. It could be a thing where, they're treating him, and Cessny's like, and Cessny and Sang or whoever are like, "Look, leave Cloud here with us. He's not in good shape. He can't travel. You get the hell out of here. Run. We're going to cover for you." It could be one of those deals. And then Zack does the whole, "I'll be back for you," or whatever, and he leaves and does not have his Buster Sword. He just gets the hell, he is told by Sing and Cessny to get the hell out of town. "We got this. We got you. Watch over your guy." And Zack leaves him the sword. And, it could happen in a different way like that, but basically, I feel like Cessny and Sing have a hand in getting Zack out. Maybe it's a deal where Zack is unconscious and out of commission, and they get him out somehow. One of those two ways, that's how Zack's gonna escape what's going on. Cloud gets left behind. Now, I think that Zack was most likely being held in that failed G Project subject facility that you fall into. I think it's chapter 13. I forget what the name of that chapter was, but where you go and there's the G facility and you fight the unknown entities and all that. I think Zack may have been being held there, which is interesting because if you go back and watch my Genesis theory video, I think that's where Genesis is asleep. I think Genesis is asleep in that wall that Barrett blows down after you defeat the unknown entity, and then the Whisperers go to keep you out. Zack is out of Midgard. This is about Zack. Zack's out of Midgard with the help of Cessny and Sing. I think Cessny maybe is traveling with Zack, right? Could be a thing. Now, where could he be and what could he be up to? Well, I think if you look at how much Final Fantasy VII Remake puts an emphasis on the other factions of Avalanche that exist, creating a bigger world for Final Fantasy VII, right? Zack has a possible involvement with Avalanche. I think he's most likely holed up in Wutai. I think Avalanche probably has a cell in Wutai. I think Zack is probably there helping plan, helping strategize, because Zack hates Shinra now. He does not want to be a Shinra guy after what they did to him. You also have the thing where I believe Genesis is going to have a big role to play in Remake, Part 2. Final Fantasy VII Part 2. I think Genesis is going to have a big role to play. Now, if you go back to thinking about how Zack was in the cell or whatever and Genesis was asleep, or he was there, right? This is like not long after Crisis Core. So Genesis could have been conscious before he fell into his slumber by the time Zack is brought in there with Cloud. Genesis could have had dialogue with Zack before Genesis enters his slumber. You could have had dialogue between Zack and Genesis before Zack is broken out of the facility and Genesis goes into his slumber. Genesis could have had a hand in it. What if Genesis has a hand? Because this didn't happen before, right? Genesis was in the G facility under a Reactor Zero underneath Midgar. He was there, Zack was dead. Right, he was there, Zack was dead. We don't know all the details about the reacquisition of Cloud in the original. We just know that he wound up there in Sector 7. So I think they're reacquired by Shinra. There could be some kind of thing happening with Genesis and Cessny and Zack, which would make it this whole Crisis Core kind of thing going on, which is interesting to me. Now, again, I get why some people may not like it. A lot of people didn't like Crisis Core. Whatever your opinion is on that, irrelevant to this theory. I think that's what Zack's up to. I think he's going to be out there somewhere. He's going to be a wild card in the story because Sephiroth does not know he survived. Sephiroth doesn't know any of these people survived. All he knows is to that point with the planet, the information he has gotten from the planet from these several time loops, because it's one timeline. These several time loops that have been going on throughout all of existence and all of time. When it repeats itself, he's gotten all that knowledge. This has never happened up to this point. Sephiroth has no idea. Zack is out there, that Biggs is out there, that maybe Jesse and Wedge are out there too, which I don't know what their role will be, but it will be some kind of role they have to play, right? He's not going to know about Genesis, whatever kind of thing he's got going on. I think it's a fascinating play with Zack. I really do. I think the whole thing with him having a second chance, and I totally get it. The tragedy aspect of Final Fantasy VII, I do. It's important, and I think it will still be there in a different way. I think if I were writing this, I would go out of my way to get the audience attached to the characters that are supposed to die again, and have them just go in a different way. Find a more heartbreaking way for these people to go out. Is there an ounce of fan service to it, bringing these characters back? Absolutely, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are people who love these characters, right? To give them a little shine in this whole rework that they're doing, I think that's fine, but I think at the end of the day, you still have to honor what made those characters so potent, and that was their tragedy. So I think they will. I'm not jumping the gun. and saying, you know, they ruined it, and flipping over tables and breaking glasses and putting my foot through a TV and swearing off the next game, because you're going to play it. You're going to play it. I'm going to play it. Of course I'm going to play it. I'll be there hour 1. Minute 1, I'll be playing this game whenever it comes out, obviously. But I think the tragedy still needs to be there with Zach and Aerith. And I'll save that video for another time because I think it's going to piss some people off. But anyway, that's all I got. If you all dug that, please throw a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're digging the content. My Aerith theory video will be dropping tomorrow based on kind of what I think now about a few things. And we'll try to put a video out on each character every week, kind of what I think their role is going to be moving forward, what they're going to be about. So thank you all for checking out the video. Y'all keep rocking. Have a great night. Let's have a great start to 2021. Let's have a great new year. Everybody out there, be good to each other. Be safe out there. I will see you in the next video.